seize the day.
We saw Wigan return to the top of the table on Friday night. Can Leeds leapfrog the champions for the second week in a row? Headingley welcomes the Regal Trophy finalists Warrington as Leeds defend their unbeaten home record. Leeds will go top again tonight if they win. Fullback Alan Tate knows what it's like to be a champion from his witness days, and when at Norton Park he was a colleague of Jonathan Davis. Jim Fallon on the wing with 13 tries, and Mark Forster for Warrington has a best ever total of 19. Francis Cummins heads to Sydney next weekend with the World 7 squad. Lee Penny is normally a fullback. Kevin Iro in the centre for Leeds, and it's young Welshman Iestyn Harris. Former New Zealand All Black Craig Innes and 18-year-old John Roper, 4 tries in his last 4 games. Gary Schofield at stand-off for Leeds. Kelly Shelford plays there for Warrington. Francis Maloney is injured. Graham Holroyd with 98 points in his last 8 games. Greg Mackey is the man who makes Warrington tick. Harvey Howard's beginning to play at the top of his form. It's Bruce Maguire for Warrington. Essini Familo is a former New Zealand international. Gary Sanderson is a former Great Britain under-21. Hookers James Lowes is in top form for Leeds, while Takuri Barlow at last looks like the answer to Warrington's problem spot. Kiwi Gary Mercer faces Paul Derbyshire, 2 men who began their careers in the three-quarter line. Welsh squad member Richie Ayres is up against Paul Cullen, while the Ellery Hanley factor might yet prove the key to Leeds' title ambitions. Michael Wainwright completes the Warrington lineup. The coaches, Doug Lawton, the last man to deny Wigan the title in his witness days, and it's Australian Brian Johnson in charge at Warrington. Match referee is Alan Bates from Cumbria. He's been just a month on the big league panel. So here we are at the very top of the Stonesborough Championship at Headingley, and Leeds defending their unbeaten home record, aiming to get back at the top of the table again today. Cullen with the first run for Warrington. First touch for Michael Wainwright, tall 19-year-old loose forward, normally a standoff in the academy, but Warrington having major injury problems. Here are the substitutes. Leeds have got George Mann and Neil Harmon on the bench again. They are unchanged, but no such thing as unchanged for Warrington.
Head-eye there, the centre Craig Innes going in. You can see the right arm going right over the top. Little word with the referee Alan Bates there, saying that he came at him with the elbow. Still no excuse for going over the top. Bruce Maguire.
Warrington substitutes Andy Bennett and Damien Witter, a young man of 18 plucked from the academy, and he will make his big league debut if he gets on tonight. So Warrington in Regal Trophy final week have got big problems as they approach the Huddersfield showpiece next weekend. Greg Mackey, though, is their inspiration, and Bruce Maguire, the prop forward, driving that ball into the quarter line. Now Takuri Barlow spinning away.
Makes you wonder what effect that might have on their game today. Will they be thinking of the Regal Trophy final?
Wainwright hit that lovely ball from Kelly Shelford at some pace. And there is Shelford playing standoff half today. His pass knocked forward by Lee Penny, playing in the unusual position of number 5 today. He's usually a full-back.
Definitely a knock-on, even though he was facing his own sticks. Not the best pass, though, from Kelly Shelford. Lee Penny, normally a full-back. Not anticipating that. New hairstyle as well.
This is Jim Fallon, the Leeds winger, and the support was there from Gary Schofield. Schofield still going, and he's taking on the winger Mark Forster, but Forster was equal to that challenge.
Well, the Leeds side didn't realise Schofield had got into open space, couldn't support him. The standoff was looking for people to get the ball out to. There was no one there.
Gary Mercer tackled by Bruce Maguire just inside the Warrington half of the field. Here's Richie Ayres. Richie Ayres with Greg Mackey all over him and Wainwright round his ankles. James Lowes is the dummy half for Leeds. Holroyd helps it onto Schofield. He dabs it into the corner, inviting Craig Innes to have a run. Oh, and there's a real mess up there, and Innes will score. Well, that was a complete and utter breakdown in communication for Warrington. Two players just stood and allowed Innes to nip in between them. And Innes, with his third try of the season, gets Leeds off to a flying start.
Well, we thought perhaps they might have their mind on the Regal Trophy final, but there's no excuse for this. There's plenty of time to get it. Forster came through it. Davies had a go at it, made a real meal of it there, did Forster. And that is a simple try for the big centre, Craig Innes. Nice little kick through. The option was well. You can see Innes on the outside. He was onside too. But Mark Forster, what on earth they were doing, a complete mix-up. Little kick through there, and the Kiwi won't get any easier than that. What an awful mess from Warrington.
Well, you look around this Warrington side and you see one or two unusual faces, but there's nothing unusual about Mark Forster and Jonathan Davis. And they made a complete and utter mess of intercepting that kick through by Gary Schofield. Craig Innes wasn't hanging around, though, was he, to make a meal of it? He just dabbed it through and touched down, and that means that Graham Holroyd has an early chance here with the boot. His conversion from far out on the left-hand touch line, and he just misses it. But Leeds have a 4-point lead at the start of this match.
You can see Forster is just about to turn round, anticipating the kick from Schofield. He had all the time in the world. Now, whether Davies shouted for it or not, either way, it was a real meal, wasn't it? Just like Yorkshire put in for the centre, Craig Innes there. What a mistake.
Well, Forster and Davis were debating the issue while Innes touched down. Davis now restarts, and Schofield picks it up and gives it to Ellery Hanley. Led Wigan to championships, of course, Hanley. This is his 100th appearance for Leeds. Gary Mercer.
That's better defence from Warrington. They're a little bit slow in the opening stanza. They weren't coming up in one line, but they seem to got it better to get it now. Not surprisingly, with giving Leeds a gift 4 points like that.
Here's Richie Ayres. Warrington with this, what for them after last season is a modest league campaign, progressing. They're in that Regal Trophy final though. And they're now in possession with Mark Forster, but he was tracked by Hanley.
Good kick and chase, but good play by Forster there. Went back to support Davies so he could get the ball away. At least they weren't caught down in that corner.
Lee Penny wanting to get on with it. Greg Mackey. That's a neat ball, and not a bad little step from Roper, and he releases the pass to Barlow. But Barlow is surrounded by 3 Leeds players. Penny to Bruce Maguire. Pitch here at Headingley, quite soft. It's already beginning to cut up. And this is Paul Derbyshire. Mackey now. Shelford. He dabs it down the wing, but nothing there. Forster was quite some way away from it.
Just a little bit too far there. The idea was okay. I'm afraid Forster couldn't get anywhere near that one. Either way, turned out to be a neat kick from Kelly Shelford. He's a great creator. Good kicking game. He's the man that could turn the tide for Warrington.
Francis Cummins. Ball went backwards, says referee Bates. Play on.
Well, I know the ball went backward, but to me, he just lost it. Obviously, the referee, Alan Bates, hadn't called held. Otherwise, that would have been a penalty.
Lowe's in fine form last week against Bradford. Schofield's the man in at dummy half. Richie Ayres is the runner.
Warrington can't afford to just keep hanging back. They've got to move up quickly.
This is the last tackle, so Holroyd puts boot to ball. Penny traps it with the boot, and it gave Leeds the opportunity to close in for the kill.
Well, the kicking game has been superb so far. That's a second kick deep from Leeds, and the chase has been very good. They really are on song. They showed last week against Bradford that Once they start spinning the ball out wide, they can score some sensational tries.
Derbyshire picks himself up, plays the ball to Barlow, and here's Gary Sanderson dragging Warrington up to the halfway line. Barlow's the dummy half, but for Milo, a judge to be laying hands on at the play the ball.
Well, just a slight interference, but he just wouldn't release. Sanderson milked it for all it was worth. And his opposite number for Milo. By the way, they've given away good yardage.
Davis's penalty. Warrington midway inside the Leeds half of the field. And there's another penalty, this time against Harvey Howard.
Swinging right arm. Referee Bates, Johnny on the spot. You see it come in on the Australian. That was it. Just a little one, but it was enough. He's rough and tough. Harvey Howard in fine form, though. Really blitzed them when he gets going.
A sign from Widnes a year ago for £105,000, Harvey Howard. Against Castleford in the Regal Trophy recently, and Bradford last weekend. Played two of his best games in Leeds colours. But he has conceded the penalty here to Warrington. It allows Davis the opportunity to kick for goal. 55 successful kicks this season for the Welsh international. 17 points against Castleford on Wednesday night. What's more, he's kicked 5 drop goals in his last 2 appearances, has Jonathan Davis. Well, he's taking his time, setting his sights. Could be an important 2 points this if it sails over. But he's missed it. But from a Warrington point of view, he got the ball dead, so they will get it back from this dropout from the Leeds quarter line. 4-0. Leeds still ahead.
Shaky start from Warrington. Jonathan Davis would be far from happy with that attempt.
And that ball dribbles its way along the ground and finds touch.
Talking about being unhappy, I'm sure the Warrington coach, Brian Johnson, won't be impressed with this. They really have got to cover the kickoffs like that. A huge gap.
It's a makeshift side, though, for Warrington, Steve-O, isn't it? They have obviously got an eye on next weekend, but they do have their injury problems, there's no doubt about that.
Well, most teams do, Eddie, but the fact is that they are a professional outfit. And what better way than to go into a final and come away with a win at Headingley? It's all about confidence boosting, and that's offside. Used as a shepherd, well picked up by the referee, Alan Bates. You can see the loose forward, young Wainwright, using the centre, Jonathan Roper. Can't do that. No chance for Ellery Hanley to get his hands upon the player.
So Leeds will come again now. And Assini for Milo with the first drive into the Warrington quarter. Harvey Howard will carry the battle to within 10 metres and keep on going. And he's waltzed through them. The defence melted away. But credit Harvey Howard for a robust run. He gritted his teeth, and from 20 metres out, he was determined he was not to be stopped. Fantastic try, really, from Howard, but a question mark about the Warrington defence.
Big question mark. Don't call it butter, don't call it margarine. There just wasn't anything there. Talk about soft. They won't come any easier for a prop forward. I said earlier that he's a man, once he gets running, can really get onto it. But that's awful defence. And what on earth was Jonathan Davis trying to attempt there? They do not have their minds on the job. This man did, though. Plenty of aggression. Barlow out the way. Davis, well, wasn't even a half attempt.
Harvey Howard, it's his first try of the season. And Graham Holroyd, bang in front of the posts, and he adds the extra 2. And so Leeds have shot into a 10-0 lead here at Headingley. Warrington, they're still in the dressing room, Steve-o.
They sure are. Not the best, I'll tell you. Harsh words, I'm afraid, from their Warrington coach. Brian Johnson is needed now. Harsh words indeed. That was not a professional style defence at all.
So 10-0 Leeds after 13.5 minutes. And at the moment, Leeds are back on top of the First Division. Do Warrington have a say in whether they will be there at the end of 80 minutes? Certainly, the Lloyders look very eager for work. Mercer, against his former club, pops the ball up, and Richie Ayres will continue this Leeds attack.
Well, there's one way to build up the forward's confidence, and that's just seeing a prop forward charge through for an easy try like that. The rest of the pack say, hey, come on. This is going to be easy, let's get through this. Pulling the ball out there. Well, I don't know what he's got them for. I'm confused, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Mercer is down in back play. The Leeds second rower, it's Richie Ayres who goes down. But just behind that, Steve-o, where the referee has now indicated a Leeds penalty, Gary Mercer was lying flat out.
Obviously taken without the football. In back play, well done by the touch judges.
Harvey Howard, another great run over the halfway line. Faimilo. Doug Lawton looking on, he has a contented look on his face, the last man to deny Wigan the title. Michael Wainwright gets the possession back meanwhile for Warrington.
Not the best attempt from Kevin Iro. You could see he's had his eyes on the opposite centre, Jonathan Roper, rather than the football. Chance wasted there. Nice long ball from Schofield out wide. Warrington really do need to get a break to lift their spirits. Extremely lackadaisical at the moment.
Mackie pass really to nobody in particular, it bounced. Unfortunately for them, it was picked up by young Yestin Harris. Here's Kelly Shelford. Wainwright was the runner, and again they almost used Wainwright as a foil. Referee not giving the penalty.
Well, there's really no Leeds player there to be obstructed. That's why he played on.
Mackie dabs one to the corner, but that's too strong.
Quick thinking from the Australian Greg Mackie, but he won't be happy with the strength of the kick. Alan Tate shepherds it over the line.
Mercer now. That's better tackling from Warrington. Derbyshire.
Good play though from Leeds. 2 tackles and they're nearly at the halfway line. Whoa! Just missed him. Swinging arm.
Schofield to Holroyd, then on to Alan Tate. He gives it to Kevin Iro. Tate linking up in support, and then he finds Fallon, but that was forward. The pass was forward, and the referee has blown the whistle.
He saw it well, because it was. Alan Tate there. No doubt about it. You see Fallon having to reach forward to take that. In his heart. Full-back Alan Tate, knowing that it was just a little forward.
Alan Tate in the England squad for that match against the Welsh on the 1st of February. Don't forget, you can see it on Sky. There's another Welshman there, Jonathan Davis, who lost the ball, although he's claiming that Innes punched it out.
He did. We'll see it here. Knocks it out completely. He had every right to complain, but they just stood there and watched it. Leeds take possession.
And this now is Francis Cummins. Good run from Cummins. Good job he ducked then.
He knew when to duck, didn't he?
Here's Harvey Howard. He's already got one from that situation. This time, Warrington's defence a lot better. It has to be now with Hanley. That's the last tackle for Leeds. They're bang in front of the Warrington posts.
Well, I'd take the option of just running for the big footballer, big forward.
Schofield dabs it through, and he's got the try, Craig Innes. Yes, the try is given. 2 for Innes. Leeds' third try. And Warrington here looking down the barrels now of a real cricket score.
Super kick from Schofield, but what on earth was the defence doing again? Kick was through. Deary me, they took an age to get to that. Jonathan Roper caught flat-footed. There's a nice kick from Scoey. He's going for Alan Tate, he was taken out, but there you can see the hesitation there from the centre, Jonathan Roper. Nothing that Lee Penny could do, but well played by Craig Innes. Second effort got him there, second try.
2 tries against Warrington in the Challenge Cup last February, and 2 tries here now this afternoon for Craig Innes. He's overcome his injury problems to play here today, and I'm sure that Doug Lawton and the Leeds supporters are delighted that he has. It's 14-0, and Graham Holroyd, this is well within range. And Leeds could easily race into a 16-point advantage here. And he kicks a nice ball, doesn't he, Graham Holroyd? It's 16-0 to Leeds.
Schofield's kicking in the corner. There you can see Innes. He's a well way away. There's a man circled. But look at this second effort. What on earth was the centre Roper thinking of?
So Craig Innes, 25 years old. Nice chip through by Gary Schofield. 46 caps, of course, for his country. Level with Nick Sullivan on the 46 cap mark. And I must say, since the Ashes tour, Steve-O, Schofield playing as well as ever.
Yeah, it seemed to lift his confidence when he had it knocked with being omitted from the Wembley scene in the first test. Gritted his teeth, got back into the job of playing like a professional footballer, and it's paid off for him. Really has rolled up the sleeves, hasn't he?
Midway through this first half, 16-0 Leeds. And this must be a worrying opening 20 minutes for Warrington coach Brian Johnson. Certainly if they don't get the walking wounded back in time for the final next week, well, they could be in serious trouble against Wigan.
Well, they just don't have their minds on the job. You can always tell that very early in a game if their straight line of defence just falls apart, and that is what they've been doing.
Here's Iestyn Harris.
You see, it's all one-out football as well when they're trying to attack. Another one-out football there.
And Leeds enjoying the majority of the play in this first half, and that is reflected in that scoreline. I'm sure, though, that after leading by 46 points to 8 after 67 minutes last Sunday, and then managing to concede 4 tries in the last 9 minutes against Bradford, Leeds will be anxious not to repeat that sort of folly this week.
Offside there, they've got to give them 10 yards. They can't encroach the 10 yards until the man has received the football and starts moving. You see quite clearly there that once he takes the ball, he was well within the 10-metre mark there. Good refereeing by Alan Bates.
And they're all offside again, Warrington, from the restart. Schofield quickly punches the ball into touch, points, directs the operations. Here comes another attack from Leeds.
You can see the defence just hanging off again every time the big fella charges at them.
Holroyd managed to pick that up. He's found Tate. They've got a man out wide. The man out wide is Innes, who has got a hat-trick here. Craig Innes, a hat-trick in the opening 22.5 minutes at Headingley. And he's gone from 2 tries this season to 5 here this afternoon.
Basic football, it all came out from a strong run from the prop forward, Harvey Howard. Get the link situation going. Good ball there from Holroyd to Tate. It's all about creating the extra man. That's what they did. the strength of Innes in for a hat-trick. Not bad, 3 tries in 22 minutes. Good strong run from the prop forward. Stretched for it, did Holroyd, but it was a beautiful pass. That's how a fullback should chime in, and that's how a centre should run onto the ball. Beautiful try.
Craig Innes, sensational opening 22.5 minutes here at Headingley for him. And here now is Graham Holroyd again. Leeds ahead 20 points to 0. This a difficult conversion attempt. And he's just pulled it the wrong side of the upright. 20-0 Leeds.
This is how a chiming in fullback can make it. You get the spread on the defence. They were pretty tight. Sliding defence didn't go out quick enough. Tate creates the extra man. Beautiful play.
Craig Innes, his first hat-trick in the big league. Had injury problems this week, but named in an unchanged side by Doug Lawton. And won't he be delighted that Innes is out there on the field.
Well, it's going to be a long, hard day, I'm afraid, for this Warrington outfit, unless they get something organised very, very quickly. 20 points down in 24 minutes. Doesn't look ominous, does it?
Here's Harvey Howard. Greg Mackey buzzing round him like a little gnat. Here's Schofield, met there by Maguire. Well, we've seen Doug Lawton, there's Brian Johnson, and I think the look really said it all. Not the best opening 25 minutes of a match this season for Warrington and their coach. Last tackle here for Leeds, so Schofield puts boot to ball. And again, Davis and Lee Penny looking at 6s and 7s there before Penny took control of the situation. Now Mark Forster. He's got his best season ever behind him already with 19 tries. His previous best tally was 16 way back in 1985. So it's been a great season so far for Mark Forster, but he won't have been enjoying the opening stanza here at Headingley. This is Paul Cullen showing a bit more in terms of effort for Warrington.
They badly needed a run like that.
That's a good ball. This now is the prop forward Sanderson. Shelford found him. This is the last tackle. Roper will run it. It bounces off a Leeds player. Davis is there playing soccer, but it's not 6 to go. The ball played the man, not the other way round.
Yes, there's little they could do about it. The ball hitting the man there. Took a while though for Milo, opting not to drop onto the football when he should have. Lucky to get away with that one. Davis could well have kicked it clean over into the in-goal area. This is where Leeds have been impressing me, their ability to get out of their own quarter. 2 and 3 drives. The forwards have been working well. They're running angle out wide.
Well, look back in these fixtures over the years. The head-to-head shows you that of 42 games played, Leeds have won 20, Warrington have won 20, and there have been 2 draws. But I think the omens here early are that Leeds are about to take the lead in that sequence. Jonathan Davis with a run, and he drew 2 men, and he gave Foster plenty of space ahead of him. This is a much better run, a better attack from Warrington, but an excellent tackle there by Holroyd.
Beautiful play from Davis. Sucked into 2 players. Good run from Harris too. This is better.
Just what Warrington needed, but at 20 points to 0 down, it's come about 26 minutes too late. Cullen now. The first real test here of this Leeds defence.
That'll be a penalty to Warrington, interference there at the play the ball. Cullen had no chance to get up and play it cleanly. There you see Hanley having a little bit of another shove. real mess. Can't get away with it these days. Pass master. Interference at the play of the ball. Ellery Hanley, but not anymore.
Well, no point in Warrington kicking for 2 points. They need 6 here. That's why they're running this penalty. With Sanderson now. Ayres and Harvey Howard, the two men to bring him down. Shelford's ball is juggled by Harris. Credit the youngster too, he kept on going despite the fact that he took an age to wheel the pass in. Here's Mackey, looking to float a long ball out, instead goes the other way to Shelford, and then he finds Derbyshire. This Leeds defence so far standing firm. Shelford again, Mackey makes a meal of it, and the referee will pull them back for the knock-on by Mackey.
Good play from Schofield, he really put his body on the line there, and you could see Mackey have a quick glance. It was enough to make sure the ball was knocked forward. Really did sprint it. Greg Mackey there, Gary Schofield. It's all about vision, reading the game. Schofield read it well.
Well, Warrington have made a change, and young 18-year-old Damien Witter, former Wigan St Patrick's amateur, has come on for his big league debut. There he is, number 15, and he has replaced Paul Cullen. Paul Cullen, who was also struggling with an injury, but the 18-year-old gets his chance. The 28th player now used by Warrington this season, Damien Witter, and straight into the action. Iro and Tate. Nowhere for Alan Tate to go there. Derbyshire lying all over him. Referee Alan Bates giving him the benefit of the doubt. Holroyd, that's a great kick, a huge kick downfield, but it's got a little bit too much legs on it, I think, and it will run dead.
It's in fine form, isn't he, Graham Holroyd? A little bit too long on that occasion, but wonderful boot.
He was under pressure too when the kick came in.
Yeah, Mackey was haring down upon him. Neat little sidestep, gave him the space. Well, it's been an impressive performance from Leeds' point of view, but I must say we have to cast a big shadow over the fact that this Warrington defence is not very good at the moment.
Well, they haven't travelled well this season, Warrington, it must be said. That's in the big league anyway. They've managed just 2 wins away from home. But on their way to the McAlpine Stadium and the final of the Regal on Saturday, they have won 3 consecutive away ties. So I don't know whether you can read anything into that, Steve-O, or whether there's something there for discussion. I mean, why do they play well in cups and not in the big league?
Maybe they get paid a little bit of a bonus.
The kick from Davis has gone straight up in the air, and it was claimed by Francis Cummins.
Great take, wasn't it? Oh. They've applauded that in Melbourne. Australian rules. Superb take.
Hanley tackled by his opposite number, Michael Wainwright. Mercer over the shoulder to Lowe's. He finds Schofield. Oh, that was an intercept by Shelford. And here now is Derbyshire.
Well, it would talk about telegram. He did 3 dummies. Shelford said, well, we're going to put a stamp on this. What a tackle. Crunch time. Welcome to the big league.
Damien Witter, his head jolted back after that tackle by Harvey Howard. He's just shook himself and he's all right, though. Maguire and Mercer throwing punches.
Somebody's down. Maguire, Mercer went at him. He was the second man coming in. Maguire saying, anybody, come on.
Yeah, well, Maguire is pointing a finger at Ellery Hanley, and of course they played together at
it was a
Balmain
beauty.
in Australia.
It was a gem. Look at that. Harvey Howard went in. Poor young Damien Witter shook his head. Full credit to the youngster. He got up, played the ball. The next time we had play, Jamie Lowes interfered, shall we say, with the Australian Maguire. Maguire said, "Here, cop that," and he did. He's got to go for this one. He slung the right arm back and let it go with vengeance.
Well, it's a question of whether the touch judge or the referee saw it, and by the looks of things, they didn't.
Well,
although
maybe
the penalty has gone to Leeds for a swinging arm.
Well, maybe the touch judge saw something about perhaps that James Lowe's maybe niggled or grabbed hold of and tried to stop.
Well, Lowe's is now on his way to the blood bin.
I'm not surprised. He caught a gem. He won't be sticking his jaw out and leaving it there ever again, I'll tell you. Not in front of Maguire. Where's the being there and there? Lowe's caught one, and in this as he just went crack. Oh! Out for the count.
Well,
I hope he had a gum shield in, because
James Lowe's is off in the blood bin, and George Mann has replaced him, but the man who threw the punch is still out there on the field. There's something wrong with that.
Well, I think he's left him on just for the fact that he retaliated, that Lowe's did have a go at him first. You could see on the replay there that he certainly went in pretty high, but that's no excuse for a man to just ladle one out. This is rugby league, not boxing. Lucky man, Bruce Maguire.
I suppose you can give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's frustration of the way that this match has fallen away from Warrington for the very first minute.
James Lowe's won't call it frustration as he picks up his teeth off the ground.
Davis collects the kick, and Lee Penny could do nothing other than be slid into touch by Jim Fallon and Gary Mercer.
Well, I think the Warrington coach, Brian Johnson, will be saying, is there any chance we can turn the clock back and start all over again? Because quite frankly, Warrington do not have their mind on the job. And that's not fair to the fans, the paying public.
Holroyd feeds and gets possession at the scrum. Schofield takes over from Iro. He's running diagonally, and there's a man out wide. The man out wide is Cummins.
There was no way.
Good defence from Warrington at the end of the day.
Schofield was screaming for someone to come back on the inside. You can see he's still talking to his players now. He said, I went in and out. I was looking for someone to come on the inside, but it wasn't there. Nowhere for Cummins to go. Good cover defence on this occasion from Warrington. And after the youngster went in a touch, Schofield was screaming, saying, come on, offside. Well called there. If there was any doubt, the referee, Alan Bates, had not seen it. There's a big cry, offside. Hanley well and truly out of the pack, well before the ball had cleared. For those that are new to the game, the loose forward, that's the last man in the pack, cannot get out of that scrum until the ball clears.
So 3.5 minutes to half-time, and I rather fancy that Warrington will be delighted when the half-time siren comes.
Well, that's the second occasion there's been interference from a Leeds player. There you see, George Mann, the guilty party. Now, according to the new edict to the referees, after the second one, they're supposed to be warned. The third one gets 10 minutes in the sin bin. Oh, that was high.
Howard on Maguire. Here is Witter.
Here it is again. Oh, it's not tiddlywinks, is it?
Now Sanderson for Warrington. Warrington now inside the Leeds quarter. Shelford juggles with it, finds Roper. Mackie. Leeds just hanging off him for a moment. Last one here for Warrington. Davis has moved up to support the attack. Dabs it through himself, but just hit it with too much meat.
No option really but to get the kick through there. There was no one in support. They really had it 6s and 7s Warrington, I'm afraid.
That was good defence from Barlow on the run from Iro. This now is Mercer.
Once again, 2 nice long drives there, and they're in the Warrington half. They're working hard as the Leeds pack.
George Mann, the dummy half. Schofield, well, he directed that and told them to head off for this kick into the corner. The only one who read the signal was Davis.
Well, we saw it, all the fans saw it, none of the Leeds players saw it.
Justin Harris. Now Sanderson. That's a run from Sanderson, taking them on. I hope that Brian Johnson packed his magic wand with him when he left Warrington this morning, because he'll have to wave it in that dressing room to rescue this match for Warrington. Shelford stopped on halfway.
Warrington just having a lot of difficulty stringing 2 and 3 passes together. Let's not take anything away from this Leeds defence. They are moving up very quickly, putting them under a lot of pressure.
Cummins to Tate. It was a risky business pass inside his own 10-metre mark, but Tate has done well here. Another Leeds player in fine form just now. Allen tends to do that quite a bit, doesn't he? Cuts in off his line, and as the tacklers come to him, he puts his shoulder down. Richie Ayres had a difficult decision to make this week, of course. He opted to play for Wales in that international rather than England. He was named in both squads. There's George Mann. It's now with Iro. Last one here. Schofield just jinks inside. Kicks it into the corner. Davis content to allow it to run dead. In stoppage time, first half, Warrington will be relieved to hear that half-time siren. Not the best 40 minutes of rugby league for them this season. And certainly in terms of confidence for the final next week, this will do them no good whatsoever.
Well, they certainly have to get it all sorted out. They really have had no combination with each other. Little bits of brilliance that we've seen has been individual.
Here's Derbyshire, but he slipped. And the referee has pulled Leeds for offside. He allowed Warrington to try and take advantage then. And when no advantage was forthcoming, he pinned Leeds for the offence.
Good refereeing.
Mackie saw a little hole and went for it. And what's more, he lost the ball.
Well, was there a hand in there? Not according to the referee.
It was according to Mackie, who had a real sideways glance at the official, and another one at Hanley. He is Innes, what a half he's had. There is the half-time siren. A first half punctuated by the hat-trick for Craig Innes, his first in the big league, former New Zealand All Black, of course. And Harvey Howard, he marauded his way through the Warrington defence for the second Leeds try. Warrington really haven't got themselves going at all, but Innes most certainly has, and his hat-trick the abiding memory of this first half here at Headingley.
You're watching Sky Sports.
News, views, action, controversy. Love him, hate him. If rugby league's your game, don't forget Boots and All on Tuesdays. Don't miss it, or I'll send him.
So Leeds ahead by 20 points to 0, and they're on their way at the moment. They're bang on course to the top of the Stones Bit of Championship tonight. But Warrington, I've no doubt with the words of their coach Brian Johnson ringing in their ears, will have plenty to say over the next 40 minutes. Steve-O, the fact of the matter is Warrington must improve
They can't get any worse, that is for sure. And let's hope that the Warrington coach, Brian Johnson, has told them one word: pride.
But look at this run from Harvey Howard again. Another marauding run from the big prop forward. No wonder he is a favourite on the terraces here. He made 30 metres then and hardly drew breath. Man gets the ball out wide to Iro. And Brian Johnson, well, he's delivered his half-time pep talk, and now he's watching from the main stand here at Headingley. But he won't have been too encouraged by that run from Harvey Howard. Leeds, on the other hand, will. That's the sort of run, Steve-O, that really does pep a team up at the start of a second half.
Certainly does. Started where they left off in the first half. The forwards really did work hard. Not the best kick from Hanley. All taken, though, by Derbyshire.
This now is Mackie, and he gets it away to Iestyn Harris. Harris thought about releasing the pass. He's released the ball then. And Harris is claiming the ball was stolen. Well, there's a little bit of interference, there's no doubt.
Wasn't it? George Mann had a second attempt at his foot while he was trying to play the ball. Well, he's perplexed. Look at that. Surely the touch judge can see that. Well, things are just not going all right for Warrington at the moment.
Here's Iro on the diagonal run, getting on the end of Schofield's pass. Must be said that after today, Leeds have only got 4 home games remaining. They have to travel to, amongst others, Castleford, Bradford, Warrington, Halifax, plus some teams that are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. So it will be a far from easy run-in for Leeds.
That'll be a penalty, interference at the play of the ball. They didn't clear the ruck. No chance that Famila could play that ball. You can see there's a man standing there, the centre, Jonathan Roper. Can't interfere in that. Must get out of the way. To play the ball activity.
Well, it really is a scrappy, untidy performance, this by Warrington. Howard finds Schofield. 12 penalties in the match, and Warrington have had the better of them, 7-5. But on the scoreboard, well, they're well and truly behind, aren't they? 20 points to 0, Leeds ahead. 3 minutes, second half gone. Holroyd to Ayres, gets the ball away, Iro, and then outside to Innes, who wants 4 and gets his 4. 4 tries for Craig Innes, 1 in 5 months before the match against Bradford, and now 4 tries in a week. What a game.
It's all about second effort, keeping this ball alive. Holroyd just threw the dummy. Big second row Ayres keeps his ball on the move. Iro did well to keep it on there, but you can see how this Warrington defence is just in a circle. Pretty tight, you've got to spread out wide. See how Ayres drags in the defence to them. 3 men get into that area, and once he gets it alive, you can see Davis is the only one that's sweeping across. Can't stop the big fella going over. 4 tries, Innes.
Tremendous display from him. As I say, 1 try in 5 months, and in the last 2 matches on Sky, he's picked up 5 tries. Quite incredible. Holroyd then with this conversion attempt. Again, far out on the touchline. And it's a good job that Leeds are running the tries in. They don't need the kicks. 24-0.
3 defenders going for Ayres. As soon as he got the ball away, there had to be an overlap. You see Davis valiantly try to get over, but the strength of the Kiwi centre, far too strong.
Here's Craig Innes reflecting on an excellent afternoon's work here already. 45 minutes gone. Steve-O, I hate to labour the point, and Warrington are obviously playing a scratch team today with players out injured. But what on earth will Wigan be making of this viewing here on Sky this evening? They'll be laughing all the way to the McAlpine Stadium next Saturday.
Well, I don't think so, Eddie. A team like Wigan do not laugh. They give a lot of respect for any opposition, and they'll go about it in a professional manner, I'm sure. But it won't do any good for the confidence, especially the fact that they're missing tackles like that.
It'll take comfort, I suppose, in that they maybe not be able to play any worse than this, Warrington. But it's a horror show. Tate. They're making so much ground, Leeds, every time they've got the ball.
They're just not moving up, Warrington. It's as simple as that. Well, I know they're in a final next weekend, but this is not fair to the fans, especially the Warrington fans.
Mark Forster, what's the difference? Forster picked that up on his own try line and made 9 metres before he was tackled. Every time Leeds get the ball in their hand, they're making 20 and 30 yards, it seems to me. Sanderson. It was over the chest. Mercer's tackle on him. This is Wainwright. To nowhere. Barlow just managing to retain possession for his team. Davis under pressure from Schofield. Straight down the throat of Alan Tate.
Not the best kick, was it? Especially with Tate in fine form. Got plenty of pace as a fullback from Leeds. This is where Leeds has also been impressive. Quick play of the balls, run from the dummy half.
Warrington's tackling though, Steve-O, is appalling.
Wasn't too pretty from Schofield either, was it? Well, that's certainly interference. This wasn't. Schofield lost it. Well, he's given it.
Yeah, the referee went to blow for a penalty and then glanced over to his touch judge on the far side.
Look at Howard, he said, nice tackle, old boy, but it just wasn't good enough. Good spirit between the two players. You can see it was a high one. Harvey says, get out of the way, he hit me on the jaw. Looked to see who it was, so it was a little one. Big smiles all round.
Here's Mercer. Offside against Warrington, and Hanley wants to play it quickly. That he does. Holroyd, Iro almost through again. Gets it away. Here now is Cummins. The ball was forward, it was a forward pass, says the referee.
Good job as well, because Leeds were running riot then, keeping the ball alive. That's the pass that was deemed forward from Holroyd to the youngster, Francis Cummins. A little bit of a pat on the back to Derbyshire as well from the referee, saying, so that was a little bit high. Offside Leeds. Now let's see if Warrington can really get themselves organised on this occasion. They've got to play with a little bit of pride. They've got to go into next week's final with something behind them.
I suppose in many ways this defeat, if that's what it turns out to be, is not hardly unexpected for Warrington. They've lost their last 4 visits to this ground and recorded just 1 win here since 1988. That was in October 1991 in front of our Sky cameras. And they should have won here last season in the League too. They built up an impressive lead, but then you might remember Leeds came storming back.
They're normally great games between these two sides. Usually go right down to the wire. Oh, another mistake there. There'll be a knock on. They'll play the first one. To no avail. Kelly Shelford. Jonathan Davis knows that it's certainly not his and the side's day. Wasn't the best pass. They have not hit any gear, never mind top gear this afternoon. It'll be difficult, Eddie, for this Leeds side too. Lull into a little bit of going to sleep. They know that game's won already now at 24-0. But remember against Bradford last week, when it became farcical in the last 10 minutes, I'm sure they'll have that ringing in their ears. The coach, Dougie Lawton, will want them to really put the nail in the coffin.
Well, as we said here 7 days ago, points difference could be important at the end of the season. Offside against Warrington.
Plenty to choose from, hasn't he? That's a sign of a tired side as well when they try to sneak up, not go back to 10. They just look sluggish, don't they, this Warrington outfit?
Well, so many new faces in many ways, and youngsters trying to make their mark. You'd think they'd be perhaps the other way round in many ways.
Well, the referee, Alan Bates, has got him for going in a little bit late there. Wainwright, the loose forward, dropping on the loose ball. It wasn't the best pass, but it was an awful pass from George Mann. This is the one that you can see there. Harvey Howard just gave him a nice sharp right. Well, he's been quite lenient, hasn't he, the referee today?
Our first glimpse of Mr. Bates. Only been in the big league for a month.
This is where Warrington should really be going through all their moves, trying to get something back into it. All right, they have got a new few faces, but that's not an excuse. They've got to start getting into some pattern.
That's better from Mackey. Support there from Sanderson. Still going, Sanderson. Well, they could do with a try, Warrington, to liven themselves up and liven their supporters up. Not the best kick in the world from Mackey.
Did that come off a Leeds player? I think you'll find it did. Yeah, looks like to me that Cummings really got his hand to that ball. So at least it should be a Warrington head and feed.
Francis Cummings off to Sydney in the World Sevens. 18 years old, what a tremendous prospect. 33-year-old Greg Mackey at the other end of the scale in terms of years. He's certainly the man who makes Warrington tick. Maybe he's arrived here today without his pocket watch.
Yeah, the minute hand's not moving. Maybe a few seconds, but certainly not the minutes. The big boys are just not firing.
Nasser gets the ball away to Iro. The beast is off on one of his runs.
Good play there by Roper. He didn't go for the ball, he just went for the arm. Centre Kevin Iro couldn't keep control of that one. Well, it's just got into a bit of a lull, this game so far. It needs something to spark it up. Let's see what Warrington can do now. Surely they've got to set up for some move.
Derbyshire.
Probably another drive and their famous crisscross, maybe.
Here's Gary Sanderson. Wrapped up by Harvey Howard. Last tackle here for Warrington. Barlow finds Shelford. Shelford dabs it into space, but too much pace behind it, and Fallon's the man to mop up the danger for Leeds.
Good play from the winger Fallon there. You could see quite clearly, anticipating the kick, had dropped back. Wonderful positioning. Look at that. Safety first. Knees on the floor, making sure he was very low to pick up that football.
That's a much better defensive effort there from Warrington.
He's penalising though. The referee had shouted held. Whilst he was shouting that, you can't continue on with the tackle. It's up to the referee's discretion. If he feels that a player has been halted, stopped, once he shouts, you can't move him again.
This is Neil Harmon, who's just appeared on the field for Leeds. He's facing his former club. The Leeds prop forward. Paul Cullen has also reappeared, apparently, for Warrington. He's come back.
Well, Cullen's usually the man that puts a bit of bite back into this Warrington pack. Let's hope he can do that now.
The ball, though, now with Schofield. And now Holroyd. Holroyd dabs it through. Davis picks up the pieces for Warrington.
Good play by Davis there. He read that well as well. It's a nice little chip through as well. Put his body on the line.
Get out! Play!
There's Cullen. Straight back and into the action, Paul Cullen. Shelford gets the ball away to Witter, and he in turn finds Roper, and Roper has got Lee Penny outside him, but Mercer tracked him all the way, and that was great defence, and you can see what Ellery Hanley thought of that tackle.
Super stuff, isn't it? Ball and all over the whitewash. They really are working hard, this Leeds 6. You can see every tackle that's made. Teamwork, patting them on the back, saying well done, keep it going.
Schofield into the arms of Innes. He's already got 4. 24 points to 0. Leeds ahead and in possession with Cummins, who has space ahead of him. That's a better tackle by Roper. Man is the dummy half. Harmon to Schofield, to Holroyd, to Hanley. They've got a man out wide. The man is Fallon, but he couldn't wheel it in.
It was an awful pass from the lead skipper. Ellery Hanley knows it too. Just panicked. Now they went to Mercer and Fallon in between. Look at that. It's on its way down, not the best pass.
Actually, if he has an Achilles heel, Hanley, amongst his repertoire of skills, it is passing the ball. He's not the best passer, is he?
No, he likes to have a short pass. He's not all that good with a long one, as we saw there. But we really do need a good long run or a try to spark it.
Shelford out wide to Forster. The tackling back by Innes and Cummins. Here's Shelford again. It's with Damon Witter now, and he loses it.
Little knock on there. You can see that the arm from Harvey Howard, some impact on the football. Difficult for the referees to make that sort of decision, but you can see that Howard's left arm came down onto the ball. Either way, Leeds head and feed. Now then, will we see a super run from the scrum base?
Well, Gary Mercer is trying to oblige you, Steve-O, and he turns it back to Fallon, and Fallon will keep the movement going with the pass to Tate. And Tate keeps it going to Mann, and Mann loses it.
Offside. Ellery Hanley coming from an offside position. Kicked the football. Well spotted by Bates, the referee. Well, to be fair, it is a little bit slippy out there, very muddy in the middle. It's amazing what the ground staff here at Headingley have done. There you see Hanley in an offside position. Boots the ball, has to be offside, but well spotted by the referee. We're getting back to this ground, Eddie, whilst all other grounds around this area really are a mud bath. This is exceptional well, isn't it?
Yes, it's stood up, hasn't it, to the rain that we've had. Been a very wet winter. 20 penalties, it's level pegging all square, you saw there, and you'll see a clean set of kit out there. It belongs to Andy Bennett. There he is, the Warrington substitute. He's come on for Takiri Barlow. Mackey to Shelford, into the arms of Harris. It's just not coming up for Warrington. So scoreline here at Headingley, it's Leeds 24, Warrington 0. Well, I suppose having conceded 20 points in the first half, Steve-O, the fact that they have conceded just 4 in the first half of the second half here will give Warrington some hope. But the finishing power here on show in the last quarter of their game so far. Leeds have scored a third of their tries, 31 of 93, but they've also conceded a third too in the last 20 minutes. Warrington don't finish too strongly, I'm afraid, and that means that this phase of the game should once again favour Leeds. But of course, remember what happened in the last 10 minutes last week against Bradford. And Bradford ran in 4 tries in 9 minutes.
I'm just hoping that we don't have a repeat.
Well, it would be nice if we did, because it would give us a rip-roaring finish.
Well, you can see there how uninterested Warrington are. The ball bobbing around and everyone was just stood there.
Davis has had a very quiet afternoon at Headingley.
I think that's only about the second time that he's actually chimed into the back line. For a man with his talents, it's not enough.
Kick downfield was from Yestin Harris. It's been collected by Alan Tate.
Much better chase as well from Warrington on that occasion.
Here's Fallon. Keeping going, Fallon. He will class himself a little unlucky, I think, that he's not in the England squad with Bentley and a fire off to the World Sevens, because Jim Fallon has run in 13 tries this season. And he always looks eager and willing for work, the Leeds winger. And those 13 tries, as good a reason as any why Leeds are heading back to the top of the table tonight. Neil Harman. Barnstorming run, and Hanley couldn't take the pass.
Well, Leeds' approach work is good now, but I'm afraid their finishing is getting a little bit sloppy. Wasn't the best pass there, though, was it? Sort of spinning out of Harman's hands, going down. Little chance for Hanley to get to that one. A few unforced errors, I'm afraid, creeping in on both sides again. Oh.
Well, you said it. You hexed him. Who came up with it for you? Greg Mackey, looking for a hole to jump into, I think.
You could see there so clearly. Took his eyes off the football. Doesn't matter what level of football you play, the eyeballs have to be on the ball at all times.
Ellery Hanley with that tackle on little Greg Mackey. Cullen was the dummy half. This is Wainwright. Davis is in the line. Good stepping run from Davis. Good covering back from Jim Fallon. Now here's Bennett. Cullen again at dummy half. Davis. Warrington close to that Leeds line. Looking to score a try that would spark a revival, and Shelford. Last tackle here for Warrington. They're so close. But Hanley doing well to snuff the danger out with a bit of help from Faimilo.
Good play from the lead skipper. When you're so close to the line, your defence only has to be over the in-goal area. On that occasion, it was only about a yard away, but Hanley really raced away, put the pressure.
Well, Innes has looked eager for work, and there's a bit of argy-bargy there between Innes and Paul Derbyshire. Touch judges on.
Well, he came for a second go, did Derbyshire. Look at that. All over him. Giving him a massage. Innes looks up at the touch judge and says, "You've got to be kidding." Well, maybe the yellow card will be out on this occasion. A few times that Warrington have been caught interfering at the play of the ball.
No yellow card. Just a grin from Paul Derbyshire.
Half a smile from Craig Innes.
Well, he knows he's probably going home with winning pay tonight, which is what Derbyshire won't be. There's another ball on the gantry for Steve-O. Neil Harmon. Schofield now for Leeds. George Manning at dummy half. Schofield looked as though he might have lost control of that ball. The touch judge having a, or rather the referee having a good look at the touch judge either side.
You lost it completely, it slipped out. It's got to be a scrum down. There it is. Schofield gave himself away by just having a little bit of a look at the touch judge. No good shaking your head, Gary.
I think Schofield was claiming then, although he lost control of it, the ball went backwards.
Wasn't going to convince the touch judge Bill Lomas on that occasion.
Derbyshire.
Oh, there was a little one went in there from Richie Ayres. Oh, this could boil over. Derbyshire had a second goal, played the ball, and then went for it.
Yeah, he went for Mercer, he got the wrong man. It was Ayres who had a pop at him.
I don't think he was worried. Anyone would do. This could boil over. The referee, Alan Bates, got to keep an eagle eye on this. The game may have gone, but could be a bit of squaring up to be done.
Last tackle there for Warrington. Davis thought he was almost through. Here's Mackey. Hoist the high kick. Mackey, he's chasing after it himself. And it might come up for him. It doesn't. It was the knock on, and it was on the last tackle, so the referee will play the turnover.
Well, he keeps trying, he's Ray Mackey and all.
Cummins has dropped it. So Warrington coming back here with Bennett. Yestin Harris, the dummy half.
I think the word that I'm looking for is scrappy.
Here's Cullen. Works in the commercial department at Warrington. He says if they win on Sunday, he sells. If they lose, he might not as well turn in. Don't think he'll be turning in tomorrow. Here's Damien Witter.
Much better run from the substitute there.
Oh, dear me. It has been a horror show for Warrington.
Penalty. Cullen got the hands to the ball. Frustration. It's got to be a yellow card, surely.
He's going. Yellow card. Paul Cullen's in the sin bin.
Right in front of the referee. Thumps the ball out. You'll see he grabs there for Tate. Up it goes. No doubt in the mind of Alan Bates. Scrambles into the back pocket. The yellow card. Everyone's happy other than him.
Neil Harmon, he will want to impress. Played 7 of the last 9 on the bench for Leeds.
Well, is Mr. Maguire going to go with him?
Well, it's about time that something happened, because this has been going on all afternoon, and the referee wants a word again with Greg Mackey.
See there, deliberate pulling of the ball, professional foul. Well, there's a public warning. The fans know it, the players know it now. Any more, hanky-panky, he'll take 10.
23 penalties in this match, 24 handling errors. Statistics like that, I think, tell their own story, and what a sad story it is.
Well, let's hope we can get a good 10 minutes now from Leeds. Another penalty, Warrington not going back to 10.
Well, Leeds want to finish this in a flourish, because if they're going to go to the top, they want to look like they really mean business. They certainly did at the start of the first half. They started breathtakingly, and they're maybe going to finish that way too. Fallon with the run. Lee Penny hauled him down. Oh, and Hanley and Schofield making a complete meal of it now. It's catching.
lack of concentration there. You can see Schofield looking at Maguire coming towards him. Well, 46 international caps, you can't get any more experience than that. He's not happy with it, and rightly so. He knows the importance of nailing the coffin.
Bruce Maguire, by the way, has been withdrawn by coach Brian Johnson, and Gary Sanderson has returned. Here's Andy Bennett. That's a better run from Bennett, and maybe the pass should have gone to Davis. Davis was supporting, and the pass just didn't come. Mackie. This is better from Warrington.
They're supporting the man a little bit more now. Neat passes and a good run from Andy Bennett, the substitute.
Shelford to Mackie. Mackie straight into the arms of Assini Farmilo. And that really sums up Greg Mackie and Warrington's day.
Well, Mackie was looking for someone for support. It was there in a Leeds player. Frustration etched on the face of the Australian Greg Mackie. He knows they'll have to improve a heck of a lot for next weekend.
They will indeed. Leeds, though, are on the way to the top, and they have to just hope that the fixture backlog, which is coming Wigan's way, catches them up, because they fancy their chances in this part of West Yorkshire of picking up their first ever big league title. Oh, Harvey Howard.
He's enjoyed it today, hasn't he, the big rugged prop forward.
And every time he picks himself up after a tackle, he's got a big beaming smile on his face. I know these players, particularly the forwards, they love the physical confrontation of it all. Innes, 4 tries, wants 5. Oh, and he passed the ball to Cummins, and Cummins couldn't take it in.
Well, Cummins had just come back on the inside, just at the moment that Innes was about to offload the ball on the outside. There you see it. He'd made the decision at the right time, but I'm afraid Innes didn't realise it. Blown a chance there. It must have been going through his mind to go for the 5th. Did the right thing to look for support.
Well, Ellery Hanley is struggling. He's been receiving some treatment, and James Lowes is preparing to come back on for the last 7 minutes of this match. But Ellery Hanley, he skippered Wigan to titles 3 times, and he now leaves the field to be replaced by Lowes. He's 7th on the all-time try-scoring chart now, and he's watching from the sideline as Bennett goes on the run. And can Bennett get over for the try? No, he can't. Six to go here for Warrington. I do believe that was Roper with that run and not Bennett. This is Wainwright, and this now is Derbyshire.
Well, at least Warrington are finishing with a flourish. I'd love to get a try at least.
Wainwright again. Tall, loose forward, loses it. Forster picked it up, dropped it.
Sometimes pictures say more than a lot of words, don't they?
Leeds will want to finish with a try, perhaps from Fallon. He's got the legs on those two. He cuts inside and gives it to Mercer, and Mercer's got Schofield there, and Schofield's got Fallon there, and unselfishly gives the try to Fallon, the man who created the opportunity with the first run. Jim Fallon, 14 tries for the season now, and at last Leeds look like a side that's going to the top of the table.
Good play from Leeds, attacking from well within their own quarter. They catch the sliding defence there, extra man on the outside. Lovely run there from Fallon. Support play was good. Mercer back on the inside. Unselfish play from Schofield. The man who started it deservedly gets the 4. Well, we've been waiting quite some time for a burst like this. Look at the determination. He's got plenty of speed. Commits Davis the fullback, Mercer on the inside. A hard worker, the Kiwi. Nothing that Davis can do about this. Fallon knows it too.
Jim Fallon scored in both meetings against Warrington here last season. And as I say, I think he's a bit unlucky not to be named in the England squad, because he's had a good season here at Headingley as Jim Fallon. Of course, the Great Britain and England coach Ellery Hanley knows all about him. So Holroyd, not a wonderful day with the boot, 2 out of 5. Points difference could be important come the end of the season. There's 2 more for Holroyd and 2 more for Leeds. 30 points to 0.
Sliding defence is sucked in. Overlap is created. The speed does the rest. And Fallon has got plenty of that. He's in fine form. He's had his best season for Leeds this year. Tremendous support play. Davis inside out. He knows he's got to be beaten. Vain attempt.
So Jim Fallon, 29-year-old, former Bath Rugby Union winger. Warrington restart. They've got just 3 minutes or thereabouts to see out here at Headingley. Man of the match has been adjudged, and who else could it possibly be other than Craig Innes? 4 tries today. And they will certainly remember his 4 tries here on the day that Leeds went back top of the First Division. They have destroyed Warrington, 30 points to 0. You can say no more than that, Steve-O. Are we watching a team of potential champions here?
Well, they're playing very well, aren't they? Working as a unit and a team. Bad mistake there, though, I'm afraid. With a grin. I'm afraid Lowe's won't be too happy with that. But he knows he's going to get winning money. 30 points to 0. It was that burst in the first 20 minutes, really, when Innes scored the hat-trick. Really did set them on their way. And I'm afraid that Leeds' defence has been so strong that Warrington really have never got into any gear whatsoever.
Davis now pulls Forster on his inside. Forster is halted by the tackle from George Mann. And he's stopped by James Lowes.
Felt it too, did Forster.
Here's Cullen, he's back out of the sin bin. 10 minutes served. Mackey running straight. Support there from Derbyshire. Pops the ball out. Soccer skills from Alan Tate. And Alan Tate will launch the counter-attack. He's taking Davis on for speed. Gets the pass away to Mercer.
Super play by Alan Tate. Kept his cool. And not super play from James Lowes. Well, he's been on the sidelines for quite some time. Only touched the ball twice, lost it twice.
Well, just half a minute of this match to go, and Paul Cullen in possession there will be joining me in the commentary box for the next couple of weeks, because our old friend here, Steve-O, enters hospital on Tuesday for some surgery, and we wish him well. Hope it all goes well, but our loss is Paul Cullen's gain.
Don't worry, I'll be back to irritate you, Eddie.
I'm sure you will.
I'll wipe that smile off your face.
We're approaching stoppage time here at Headingley. Leeds are on top of the Stonesborough Championship, and Warrington have got a mighty rebuilding job to do for the Regal Trophy next Saturday.
Well, you can't blame Greg Mackey. He really has tried hard in this second half. Centre there, Jonathan Roper realising that yet another ball has been dropped. Been a problem for the Warrington side all day. Very wet conditions though, to be fair.
Yes, even though we were paying credit to the Headingley ground staff for the job they've done on this pitch, it is very, very heavy nonetheless. And there are some tired limbs out there. Warrington will be glad to hear that final siren. And they will start the job of rebuilding confidence for next weekend. Leeds, of course, it's a totally different kettle of fish. The final siren will signal them back at the top of the table. And when they have played today, Leeds, they have looked a champion side. They just have to hope now that Wigan slip up in the latter stages of this season. But Steve, only 4 at home after today. It's a big ask of them to finish strongly with so many difficult away ventures to come.
Well, it won't be easy, they realise that.
There's the full-time siren. Gary Schofield ending with a little nonchalant shake of the head. For me, it's been a curategue performance from Leeds, good in parts. But Jonathan Davis knows that he will have a lot of talking to be done in that dressing room for Warrington in the next week. Greg Mackey, he's tried as hard as anybody. But Warrington go forward to their final next Saturday. And they will have to hope that they will play a lot better than this. Alan Tate had a fine game again for Leeds. The rock on which Leeds have built their assault on the championship, and 4 tries today for Craig Innes. Surely his best day in the big league in scoring terms. And Leeds top of the tree tonight. A big win against Warrington by 30 points to 0. And who knows, it could be points difference at the end of the day that makes all the difference. Over 12,000 here to see Leeds go back to the top of the table with a 30 points to 0 victory. The tries from Innes, who got 4. Howard, Fallon and Holroyd kicked 3 goals. Quite a day for Leeds, quite a day too for their centre, Craig Innes. 4 tries for the Leeds star. Craig, funny old game. 1 try in 5 months and now 5 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. It's a funny game, all right. You know, I was starting to get a bit paranoid before last week, and I was wondering if I'd ever score another try again in my life. So it's been quite a good fortnight.
It certainly has. What was it that went so right for you today? You were in the right spot at the right time?
Yeah, that's all it is, I think. You just got to be, now and again, the ball will bounce for you, and I think with a couple of them especially, that's the way it happened.
Top of the table, you must be hopeful that this is going to be Leeds' year.
Well, you know, we're doing all our bit at the moment. We're keeping the pressure on, and we're just going to have to rely on a few other teams to maybe bowl Wigan and give us a crack. But at this stage, we're doing everything that we need to do, and we're just going to keep it going now.
Greg, I rather fancy that Warrington had eyes on another event 6 days away, didn't you?
Oh, one could maybe say about that in that first half, but I thought, you know, the old adage, you make a lot of mistakes and you pay the penalty, and Leeds certainly made us pay the penalty when we went in at half-time, so many points down. But I thought we'd come out and we had a fairly good shot at them in the second half, but still made a lot of mistakes, and especially down in their quarter this time rather than in our quarter in the first half. And consequently, they rattled up a bit of a score.
1 or 2 unusual faces in the Warrington side. I suppose because of that you can be excused for a bit of lack of communication.
Yeah, I suppose that's about the only thing we can fall back on, but that's an excuse rather than you know, a great reason why we didn't perform so well. But you know, just the mistakes down there, the kicks and whatever, and bang, Leeds come up with some tries, and suddenly we don't look so good as what we thought we were.
Alan, top of the league, it's all going very well.
Yeah, we've just got to, you know, keep concentrating on our own game. Just got to forget about Wigan. We've just got to keep plodding away. You know, leapfrogging Wigan each week when they've got a cup game.
Well, you obviously need someone to do you a favour and to knock them off. Bradford nearly did on Friday.
Yeah, Bradford fought well, you know, and maybe disputing that try that they can score. But as I say, you know, we can't afford to look behind us. We've just got to keep going forward.
Let's look at the match facts now from this win at Headingley. The team tackling equally shared again. Scrums, 11 to Leeds and 8 to Warrington. 24 penalties. Leeds got 14 of them, and far too many handling errors from both sides. But the possession statistic tells its own story. It was Leeds' match from start to finish.
So Leeds big winners by 30 points to 0 against Warrington, and 7 days ago, you may remember, we were reflecting on the last 9 minutes of Leeds' match against Bradford when they shipped in 4 tries. Today, at least, Steve-O, we can say that Leeds got it all together defensively.
They certainly did. It was an impressive performance from Leeds, especially in the first 20 minutes. I thought the pack really powered into Warrington, and they never allowed the Wires to get into their movement.
I just wonder, Steve-O, whether Warrington had other events on their mind.
Well, it certainly looked that way. The Regal Trophy final coming up next weekend, and in fact, a lot of their players didn't really sparkle. But let's not take anything away from Leeds. I thought their defence was superb, and let's face it, Craig Innes, when he scored 3 tries within the first 20 minutes, it was well and truly wrapped up then.
Yes, Leeds then top of the table, and I wonder how the rest have gone today in the big league. Let's now bring you the highlights and all the tries from matches played elsewhere.
Seize the day.
Despite the snow, the temperature was high at Thrum Hall, where Halifax took control early on with 3 tries in the first 20 minutes, the first from centre Carl Gillespie, making his debut. Mark Preston has been having a thin time of it lately for Halifax, so he must have been grateful to fellow winger John Bentley, who belted the ball upfield for Preston to win the chase and touchdown. Paul Moriarty, back in the Halifax side after a knee operation, set up good position in the 20th minute, and it was John Schuster who burrowed through to make it 14-0. But by now, Castleford had thawed out, and they set about transforming the game. Chris Smith just getting a touch to Richard Russell's grubber. And then Dean Sampson went over, with Lee Crooks goaling both tries to make it 14-12. Just before half-time, a well-worked try gave Cass the lead. Kemp and Nickow switched the direction of the attack for Tony Smith to send in Richie Blackmore. Crooks goaled that to put Castleford 18-14 ahead, but then they shot themselves in the foot. Dean Sampson pulling the trigger. That reckless high tackle on Mark Preston was duly punished with Sampson's dismissal, and there'll be more to come from the disciplinary hearing, which may put his chances of an England cap at risk. Amazingly, though, it was Cass who scored next, as Richie Blackmore set off on a typical run and had Tony Kemp in support. Another Crooks conversion, making it 24-14. But Halifax eventually made the advantage of the extra man count as Moriarty rumbled through for a try. Lee Crooks was then sin-binned, and Cass, without 2 heavy-duty characters, were made to pay. Gary Devorty slithered through to touchdown Wayne Parker's chip. But Halifax had saved their best till last as John Bentley set off from deep in his own territory round the Castleford defence. And there was Mark Preston to have the last laugh and gain suitable revenge for that high challenge.
St Helens fans were looking forward to a tri-fest against Hull, and they weren't to be disappointed, although it was the Humbersiders who took the lead when Mark Hewitt's kick wasn't dealt with and Steve Prescott nudged it sideways for Richard Gay to touch down. But then Hull conceded 3 daft penalties before Anthony Sullivan squeezed in at the corner. 10-6 to Saints. Sullivan was at it again 3 minutes later. Perellini and Joint assisted, and Sullivan picked the same spot to make it 16-6. Then Hull threw away any chance they might have had. Bobby Goulding appeared to be tripped. Ref Russell Smith said no, but the touch judge saw it differently, and he persuaded Mr. Smith that skipper Steve McNamara should walk. Bobby Goulding was again the fulcrum of Saints' attacks, and he supplied Adam Fogarty with the ball for the simplest of tries. Now watch closely. It's tough being a rugby league player, but it's also tough being a ref. Saints just kept on going, though, and Mark Elia cut a swathe through the Hull defence for try number 4 for the home side. Here's the try of the game. Gay's lobbed kick originally caused confusion, but eventually Cooper gathered the ball, and sit back and enjoy this from Anthony Sullivan. A try from one end of the field to the other, completing his 4th hat-trick of the season. 36-6 at half-time, and Hull might have spent half-time over at St Luke's Church looking for some divine intervention. But Hull, who also had 3 players sin-bin, were down to 11 men when Dean Busby reduced the margin. However, St Helens made their numerical advantage tell with lovely ball handling to allow Apollo Perolini to make it 40-12. Then Sonny Nicol crashed over for another St Helens try, and the conversion rattled up 50 points for the home side. Dean Busby got his 2nd try, though, for the visitors. But Saints had the final say when Cooper, Joint and Nicol, with a pass which looked distinctly forward, gave Andy Northey his first try in rugby league on his full debut. Bobby Goulding, incidentally, kicked 10 goals out of 10 attempts.
Sheffield Eagles have a fine record at Oldham, and they maintain their run of successes at Watersheddings today. Paul Carr opened the scoring for the Eagles after 6 minutes, punishing some slack defending from close range. Oldham, though, were soon back in the game, led by Mike Kuiti, whose burst from a scrum caught Sheffield napping and gave Scott Ransom the opening. It's been a troubled week for Oldham. Their main stand was only reopened after last-minute work to satisfy safety requirements. The fans in that stand had a great view of Linton Stott speeding by on his way to a superb try. The Eagles 10-4 ahead. But 4 minutes later, Oldham levelled again as Martin Crompton darted through. The balance of power shifted in the second half as Oldham were reduced to 12 men. Mike Kuiti sent off for his high tackle on Paul Carr. Carl Briggs kicked the penalty, but Paul Topping responded to make it 12-all. As a blizzard raged in the final 15 minutes, Powell popped over a drop goal, and after Oldham had battered the Sheffield line, up popped Powell again to make sure of the Eagles' 4th successive win at Oldham.
A well-sanded pitch, but it didn't stop Warrington, who continued their climb up the table at the expense of Salford. Phil Mackenzie's pass and Kevin Ellis's try. Brad Heppy laid on the next one to Vince Fawcett, and with 3 Marwood goals it was 14-0 at half-time. Mackenzie, Ellis's kick, fumbled by Marn and pounced on by Vince Fawcett again. Salford really didn't have an answer to Ellis. Here he misses out Holgate, passes to Heppy, and it was Paul Burns' night. The Mackenzie-Ellis combination was at it again for try number 5, and Kevin Pape charged through some papyrus-thin defence. Kevin Ellis, on loan from Warrington, scored his 2nd try, and Salford really better sort themselves out for Leeds on Friday. The crowd really said it all.
Once again, Nigel Wright was the key to a Wakefield Trinity victory. This their 3rd in a row as they climbed further away from the relegation zone. On a pitch which past a late inspection, skills were at a premium. Wright had them to score in the 7th minute. The only points for Widnes came from 2 goals from Adrian Hadley, while Adrian Flynn scored the 2nd of the Wakefield Trinity tries, exploiting some weak Widnes defending. Wright contributed 12 of his side's 20 points. He also set up the position for the 3rd Wakefield Trinity try. This time it was Aaron Whittaker's kick through. It bounced off 2 Widnes players, and Whittaker got the touchdown.
Featherstone were looking for their first win since October, and Doncaster must have fancied their chances. Even more so when Andy Rothwell caught Featherstone sleeping at the play of the ball. But then Doncaster committed Harry-Carry, a high tackle, and Vila Matatia was sent off. Well, the referee might have left his cards in the dressing room, but when Mark Aston appeared to be garrotted a minute later, the ref pointed the way to the early bath again. This time Colin Maskell was the offender. Reduced to 11 men, Doncaster were up against it in no uncertain terms, and Featherstone made their numerical advantage tell when Matt Calland went over. The visitors went further behind 8 minutes into the second half, when Southernwood, Tuta and Rogers set up Ikram Butt. But then Doncaster mounted a sterling comeback, and centre Dave Evans made it 16-10 for the home side. 3 minutes later, Alex Green was tackled, but Tony Miller powered over from the play of the ball. 16-16. Were we going to see one of the shock results of the season? Enter the Featherstone hero on his white charger, New Zealander Brett Rogers, try number 1. Rogers put big bad Doncaster to the sword again with a second try, which might well persuade Featherstone that the Kiwi is worth more than a 1-month trial. That broke Doncaster's hearts, and Dive and Calland set up Darren Hughes for a well-taken try. Robert fed Carl Gibson for the final try, and if it didn't bring the house down, it did bring the advertising hoarding down. The Doncaster lads didn't rate it, but they're really now back in the relegation battle.
Now to the weekend's results, beginning with the race for Wembley that continues with the third round of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup. Barrow 56, East Leeds 0, Batley 32, Shawcross 4, Carlisle 34, Dudley Hill 4, Dewsbury against Kells was postponed, Highfield 4, Beverley 27. Beverley become the first amateur team to beat a professional club in the Challenge Cup in 86 years. And Beverley were the last team to do it as well in 1909 against Ebbw Vale. Huddersfield 44, Wigan St Jude's 10, Hull Kingston Rovers and Thornhill postponed, Hunslet 64, Wigan St Patrick's 4. Keighley against Chorley, another match postponed because of the weather. Lee 40, Heworth 28. London Broncos 30, Ellenborough 10. Rochdale 48, Loch Lane 16. Rydale York 50, Barrow Island 20. Swinton 30, Millom 10. And Whitehaven 64, Moor Ends 12. Now to the Stones Bitter Championship, the First Division, Bradford 10, Wigan 14 on Friday. Featherstone 34, Doncaster 16. Halifax 30, Castleford 24. Leeds 30, Warrington 0 here. Oldham 12, Sheffield 14. St Helens 54, Hull 18. Widnes 4, Wakefield 20. And Workington 34, Salford 0. At the top of the table, Leeds then take over again. They're a point clear of Wigan. The champions have got 2 games in hand, but they do play Doncaster in midweek. And St Helens and Halifax keep up the pressure. At the bottom, 2 famous clubs are in deep water. Widnes and Hull, who meet on Wednesday at the Boulevard, now occupy the relegation positions. Featherstone got that crucial win over Doncaster, who had 2 men sent off and 1 other in the sin bin before the end. Wakefield's 3rd straight win, their first win at Widnes since 1976. Now, what's coming up on the big league? Well, next Friday, we look at Leeds again. The league leaders were on Sky Sports 2, though, notice, at 7 o'clock, live and exclusive from Salford. Join us at the Willows next Friday night. On Sunday, we look at the bottom of the table and a crucial match for Hull. Hull against Workington, plus the highlights again from all the First Division games. That one back here on Sky Sports. Wales against England then coming up on the 1st of February at 7:30, live and exclusive on Sky from Cardiff. And the John Smith European Championship continues. A fortnight later, we'll be at Gateshead for England against France, the whole match as live. The World Sevens, a special programme for you on Sunday the 12th of February at 8 o'clock, a 2-hour special following the fortunes of the Great Britain team. And we have Boots and All back to the regular time this week of 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Tuesday at 7 on Sky Sports for Boots and All. That's it then from Headingley, the top of the table, and Leeds. It's goodbye.